How is it physically possible to feed 500,000 soldiers in an active combat zone, cooking 1.5 million hot meals every single day under hostile fire? How do you move thousands of tons of raw meat and flour across a global supply chain and turn it into scrambled eggs and meatloaf in the middle of a 120-degree desert? Watch closely because the logistical mathematics of military sustenance are just as critical and often more complex than the targeting algorithms of a cruise missile. In this documentary, we are dissecting the operational front of military field kitchens, using the unprecedented scale of Operation Desert Storm as our blueprint. We will trace the exact path of a calorie from a cargo port in the United States to a soldier's tray in Kuwait. We will examine the mechanics of the mobile kitchen trailer, the brutal physical reality of cooking in chemical protective gear during ballistic missile alerts, and the ruthless mathematics of the military supply chain. We are breaking down how the United States Army feeds its forces under fire. A military force is a biological engine. It burns calories at an astonishing rate. During combat operations, a single mechanized division consisting of roughly 20,000 troops requires between 60 and 80 tons of food every 24 hours. To sustain the entire American contingent during Desert Storm, the Quartermaster Corps had to move over 2,000 tons of food daily. This is not a catering operation. It is a massive, synchronized industrial supply chain. The journey of a meal begins weeks before it is eaten. Cargo ships depart from ports in Texas, Virginia, and California, loaded with containerized frozen beef, poultry, flour, bulk ingredients, and fuel. These ships cross the ocean and arrive at Dhahran, the central logistics hub on the Gulf Coast. By early 1991, the military was already employing early GPS technology and computerized tracking to manage this massive influx of cargo. From the port, heavy forklifts transfer the pallets into a fleet of refrigerated trucks. These trucks fan out across the desert, driving hundreds of miles along secured, often unpaved supply routes to forward logistics bases near the Kuwaiti border. The supply chain must remain unbroken. If the diesel fuel stops, the refrigeration fails. If the refrigeration fails, thousands of tons of food rot in the desert sun in a matter of hours, effectively paralyzing the combat divisions. The Quartermaster Corps tracks calorie counts, shipment weights, and the availability of ice with the exact same precision that artillery commanders use to track high-explosive shells. Once the raw ingredients reach the forward units, the process transitions from global logistics to tactical preparation. The backbone of this phase is the MKT, the Mobile Kitchen Trailer. The MKT is a self-contained, highly engineered cooking station mounted on a standard military trailer chassis. It is designed to be towed by a 5-ton truck or a Humvee directly behind advancing armored columns. When a battalion halts, the culinary specialists go to work. The MKT operates like heavy steel origami. In exactly 30 minutes, a trained crew can unfold the metal roof, drop the stabilizing jacks, deploy the serving lines, and ignite the burners. They call it feeding on the move. The burners are the mechanical heart of the kitchen. They do not use standard commercial propane. They run on JP-8 aviation fuel, the exact same highly combustible kerosene-based fuel used to power the M1 Abrams tanks and Apache helicopters. This standardizes the fuel supply, eliminating the need for a separate logistical chain just for cooking. The modern burner units can boil 50 gallons of water or fry heavy rations in minutes, entirely unaffected by wind or altitude. A single MKT, fully deployed, can serve between 800 and 1,200 hot meals per sitting. During Desert Storm, over 2,500 of these mobile kitchens were deployed across the theater, operating under camouflage netting or the open sky, moving in lockstep with the combat divisions. The environment inside one of these field kitchens is brutally unforgiving. The ambient temperature in the desert frequently exceeds 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside the canvas tent, with multiple JP-8 burners running at full capacity, the temperature easily climbs past 130 degrees. The cooks operate on a grueling schedule that never matches the battle tempo. It must always be ahead of it. 4 hours before dawn, the burners are lit. Water heaters come online. By the time the first combat convoys roll out, breakfast is fully prepared. The cooks work 14-hour shifts. The air inside the tent is heavily saturated with the smell of burning diesel, hot cooking oil, and human sweat. The fine desert sand is a constant mechanical and sanitary threat. It infiltrates the sealed food containers, coats the stainless steel prep tables, and ruins the burner valves. The cooks wear goggles and wrap wet cloths over their faces just to breathe while stirring vats of soup. But the heat and the sand are only environmental hazards. During the air campaign, the Iraqi military frequently launched Scud ballistic missiles toward coalition staging areas. When the early warning sirens blared, the cooking did not stop. The kitchen crews were forced to don their mission-oriented protective posture suits, consisting of heavy, charcoal-lined chemical protective overgarments, thick rubber gloves, and gas masks. Imagine standing over a boiling vat of water in a 130-degree tent, wearing a sealed rubber mask that severely restricts your oxygen intake, trying to chop vegetables and monitor cooking temperatures under yellow chemical lights. At one forward logistics base, a Scud missile impacted less than 2 miles from the mess area. The culinary specialists dropped to the sand, waited for the all-clear signal, stood back up, and immediately went back to slicing potatoes. The dinner schedule is rigidly enforced, regardless of incoming artillery. In a battlefield measured in miles, the smallest mistake can cause an outbreak of foodborne illness, effectively wiping out a unit's combat readiness faster than enemy fire. Historically, disease kills more soldiers than bullets. Water is both life and a logistical nightmare. A field kitchen can go through 400 gallons of water per meal cycle, not only for cooking but for mandatory washing and sterilization. This water is transported by mobile tanks or drawn from massive collapsible bladders, filtered and chlorinated on site. Dishwashing follows a strict, non-negotiable protocol known as the 3-sink method. Wash, rinse, sanitize, air dry. Every kitchen crew carries thermometers and chlorine test kits right next to their ladles. Uneaten food, grease, and packaging must be burned or buried immediately to prevent pests and contamination. Maintaining sanitation in a dust-choked desert borders on the impossible, but strict discipline ensures it gets done. The military has backup systems, primarily the meal ready to eat. The MRE is a highly engineered, vacuum-sealed pouch containing 1,200 calories. It is designed to survive airdrops and last for 3 years in extreme temperatures. It keeps a soldier alive. But it is monotonous, highly processed, and psychologically taxing over long periods. The Quartermaster Corps operates on a fundamental principle: warm morale. A hot meal is a psychological weapon. When a mechanized infantry squad has been driving through the desert for 3 days, eating dry crackers and rehydrated beef stew out of a plastic bag, their combat effectiveness physically degrades. Their cognitive focus narrows. When that same squad rotates back to a staging area and smells grilled chicken, mashed potatoes, and hot coffee cutting through the ever-present stench of diesel exhaust, it acts as an immediate psychological reset. The military menu planners deliberately engineered over 50 different recipes for the field kitchens. These are heavy, recognizable comfort foods. They provide the necessary 4,200 calories a soldier requires for combat exertion, but more importantly, they provide a brief physical reminder of normalcy. Commanders in the field treat the deployment of a hot food line with the same tactical priority as an ammunition resupply. A unit that is fed hot meals maintains higher discipline, communicates more effectively, and sustains combat operations far longer than a unit subsisting entirely on MREs. The sound of metal ladles striking stainless steel serving trays is the mechanical rhythm that keeps the human components of the war machine functional. By the end of the campaign, the U.S. military had served more than 60 million meals across the Persian Gulf theater without a single catastrophic logistical failure. It proved a fundamental rule of warfare. You can engineer the most advanced stealth fighters and tanks on the planet, But victory ultimately relies on ordinary people doing unglamorous work, sweating over diesel burners in the sand, ensuring the army never stops moving. If this deep dive into the brutal logistics and engineering of military field kitchens changed your perspective on combat operations, let me know in the comments below. Could you endure a 14-hour shift cooking for 1,000 soldiers in 130-degree heat while wearing a gas mask? Hit the like button to help push this documentary into the algorithm, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next breakdown.